Hi, welcome to the latest video that I've decided to create. This is going to be looking at the investigation task sheet. It's going to be done in 3 stages. The first stage is going to be looking at the first page, which is planning and the focus questions. Second section will look at the second page, which is all about the planning of your task, and then the third page, or the final video, will be looking at the third and fourth pages of your task sheet. So this is going to be looking at how we work with the investigation plan that has been put up into Moodle. It's basically a plan that's been devised to help most students achieve a level 4 bordering on into a level 5 of the ICP learning area. Now, when you go into your Year 8 Community 2 S&E page, or whatever page it is that you go to, what you're going to do is you're going to scroll down to where I've got investigation information. Now, let's assume that in this case we've got an investigation into shark finning. What we're going to do is we are going to click on that link, which is investigation start off sheet. Once we click on this sheet, it opens up this dialog box. For my computer it does anyway, it depends on your system, and you basically just download the file. Okay, so what we can see here is we've downloaded the investigation plan. So obviously the first thing you need to do is enter in your name, and whatever form you are. Okay, and you enter in the research topic, and in this instance we're going to be looking at shark finning. Okay, so now that we've done that, we go down to this section here where it says planning your investigation. Now, these text boxes I've added in so that I can show you onto the computer. My original sheet doesn't actually have those, so the first thing we do is we enter in the main topic idea, which is shark finning. And then what we do from there is we start brainstorming what we know about the subject. Now, in a brainstorm such as this, you want to make sure that your brainstorms coincide with the actual task that's been given you. If I can just quickly switch back to this page here, the example of a task sheet where I've put up a task sheet for you. On the task sheet of the assignment that you're looking at, you will have a series of pieces of information on there that says what the teacher's looking for. Use that for when you're going on to this section here and you start planning your investigation. So if one of the questions is, or one of the aspects that you need to research is, what about the Australian government in this issue, you will then have to do something in one of these boxes about the Australian government. So it's actually planned so that you can look at the question by question and brainstorm on each question. Now, brainstorming, or my version of a brainstorm, okay, shark finning. It is used by Asians for soup, and which is, your usual shark fin soup, which is the cause of it. We know that it kills sharks, and I'm going to put here a lot. Down here, another thing that I definitely know about shark finning is that the Sea Shepherd is one organisation that protects. Now, obviously, you can, if you're in this situation, can probably write more than I am. I'm just trying to speed up the process so that I can get through this video in as little time as possible. Now, one of the questions, Australian government has regs for finning. Now, I know this, you might not, and it's based on the question, but you basically, for the brainstorm, as I said before, you are always putting in your understanding, your knowledge of the topic. Either they could be questions that you don't know, or they are points that you do know. So these are the things you need to look at. So over here, I'm going to whack in that there are consequences for overfishing sharks, and that also in international waters there is very little regulation for protection of. Now, again, these are all bits of knowledge that I know. If we scroll down, we get to the next section, which is looking at your focus questions. Now, your focus questions are going to come from this initial brainstorm. One question might be based on one of these topics. Another question might be based on what you don't know. So like, let's say that this is all you know about the topic, but you know that to answer the assignment properly, you need to answer something about, whatever might not be there. That's going to be one of your focus questions. In addition to that, your focus questions here are going to have to reflect what you need for your assignment, because I'm always bringing it back to the point that you need to answer the question. Okay, so focus questions that I might have gotten from this section here. Well, what is shark finning? And let me just fix up the typo. And now, finning isn't technically a word, but I'm just whacking it in there just in case. I wonder if that works. Although that could be shark fining, and that is something completely different. Or I could just be spelling atrociously. What is shark finning, and why does it occur? Now, in this question that I've written here, I've actually brought up point number 1. So the focus question that I need to answer is, what is it and why does it occur? And it occurs because it's used for a soup, and I will talk about what the actual process is of shark finning and what is the definitions of it. Now, in this section, another question that I'm going to look at are what are the consequences environmentally? I'm being specific here. Instead of just going, well, what are the consequences? Oh, sharks die. I'm saying, what are they environmentally? What's going to happen if we continue to shark fin? Are we going to have a good consequence environmentally, which means that, we can go into the water without fear of getting eaten? Or are there going to be disastrous consequences environmentally? So that's another focus question that's going to shape what I do from here on in. Other focus questions that you might do on this kind of situation is, what is the Australian government's position on shark finning? And another question is, now, as I said, these focus questions that I've got here link up to these brainstorm things, as well as these would link to any kind of task requirements that you would be given in your initial handout sheet. So that's basically looked at the first page of your investigation plan, and what you can see here is that we've gone through a brainstorm and a focus question. The next video that we're going to look at is going to be looking at this whole notion of structuring your ideas or starting up a plan for your assessment task.